New York City's mayoral candidates faced off last night in their final debate before the election on November 4th.
I know that we desperately need to build more housing in this city, and I also know that the jobs we create in the building of that housing should be good jobs as well.
What a political answer. What is your opinion, Zohran?
Yes or no?
Come on.
Yes or no?
What is your opinion? Yes or no, Zohran?
Truth.
Don't be a politician here.
I got it. They're pointing out what I was about to.
Please
answer the question.
No, I think on the stage you can see two people appealing for the Republican Party's votes, and myself.
Answer the question. Answer the question for once.
My question to you was, do you support the 3 ballot amendment questions?
I have not yet taken a position on those ballot amendment questions.
Oh, what a shocker.
All right.
What a shocker.
Rope-a-dope. Joining us, Curtis Sliwa, Republican candidate for New York City mayor. You remember Ali, rope-a-dope, he won that fight. I don't know if this guy has to do anything. And I'm not, people want you to drop out. I'm not blaming you if the other candidates are bad, or if New York voters are, I'm not going to disparage New York voters, but if he's got if Mamdani, he has them under a spell because of affordability, I don't know what.
Well, how did we get here? The Democrats allowed the socialists into their house. Bernie Sanders has never been a Democrat. Hillary said, but I need a challenger. You know, I don't want a coronation. Strike one. Strike two, AOC. Nobody knew her. Joe Crowley would have been the potential Speaker of the House now, having replaced Pelosi. He didn't even run a race. And Andrew Cuomo, 40 percentage points ahead of Zohran Mamdani at the beginning of the Democratic primary, wiped out by 13 points. No. The Democrats have sacrificed their party to the socialists. I'm the only Republican. Last night, I was the only one saying we need to cut corporate taxes. We got to cut the income tax. The one tax that I can cut as mayor without any interference is the property tax, which is up to 20%. People used to say, oh, better to live in New York City, because if you live in Nassau County, Suffolk, or Westchester, or New Jersey, tremendous property tax, which supports their school system. Here, our property tax is the same, and it doesn't go to our school system. So if you don't slash the taxes, corporations, which are already fleeing en masse, just have another reason to leave. And then we have a bloated budget, a $116 billion budget in the city, which is more than the total budget for the state of Florida and Tallahassee. And you say, well, where's the money going? Especially the Department of Education, $40 billion. Each student requires $41,000. And what do we get as a result? Fourth graders, 2/3 can't read, write, or do arithmetic at grade level. 1/3 of the children don't even go to school. We have 100,000 less students. And it's the UFT, the union, that runs the Department of Education, not the mayor. And it's, again, Democrats who've let them run amok. Right. We are on the way to a fiscal crisis that may require the re-upping of the old Financial Control Board, because these Democrats just spend, and they have no limit on their spending, and there's not enough money there.
I had a conversation with you earlier, and I mentioned to you, you're, unlike it being a single vote, you could probably deliver with your voters hundreds of thousands of votes, probably, to Cuomo. You might be able, even though Trump and others say it's a lost cause at this point, but it is possible that you getting out could help Cuomo, and you love this city. That's what people keep asking you. Do you see that? But you told me at this point, why not? Why can't you be mayor? Do you really do you see a path to you?
Yes.
You do see a path to you. Nothing indicates that.
Well, wait a second. Who supports me? Rudy Giuliani, George Pataki, all the chairman of the Republican Party, the state leader, Ed Cox. Why would I drop out of a race? And you're assuming Republicans are going to vote for Cuomo?
You're on the ballot, so they're going to go right down the ballot.
They can't even find Cuomo on this ballot. By the way, Cuomo's responsible for the crime crisis, no cash bail, raise the age, that had my son on the ground being almost kicked to death by gang members. And you know what they got? A slap on the wrist and released by family court. And he wants to close the jails. So we already have a crime crisis.
I'm going to let Andrew, because this is not my problem. I have my own problems in New Jersey. I have candidates, you know, you can't believe these ads that they run. flat-out lies that one candidate is running for the other. Andrew,
Curtis,
Adam,
no,
you're
Curtis,
the one that's
I'm
got
a
to
New
live
Yorker.
here.
Curtis, I'm in D.C. today, but I'm a New Yorker. I love New York more than anything, and there's a lot of things that you and I agree on. The thing that I'm trying to figure out right now, though, is it appears the math is not ultimately on your side, and so I can't figure out beyond sort of the not just the pride piece of it and the fact that you're a Republican, and I get all of that, but here we are in this sort of what you've described as this critical moment for the city, the future of the city. And if you actually believe that Zohran Mamdani is the threat that you've described, I mean, perhaps you don't think that, and maybe you think that Cuomo is just as big a threat. But if, in fact, this is this sort of, inflection point in the city, I just can't understand. Do you think that there's any chance mathematically that you win?
Absolutely. And let me tell you something. The billionaires have been wrong about this election from day one. They give me vertigo. First, they were with Cuomo. Then they ran over to Eric Adams. Oh, how did that work out? He's one and done. He belongs in jail. He's the reason that there is a Zohran Mamdani, because if he had done a halfway decent job, he would have been the incumbent Democratic mayor. It would have been round two because I ran against him the last time in 2021. And I warned everybody he would be corrupt and there would be chaos. And it would be Sliwa versus Adams. Adams failed. Cuomo failed. That's how you have a Zohran Mamdani. So please, I'm here in New York City. I was born in New York City. They tried to kill me in New York City. I will die in New York City. I will be buried in New York City. I know what's in the best interest of New York City. I'm not dropping out because some billionaires have vertigo. And by the way, they may know Wall Street. They may know hedge funds. They don't know anything about the streets of New York City. And by the way, they've been wrong about politics every time.
Curtis, do you think the polls are wrong?
Excuse me?
Do you think the polls are
wrong?
Well,
did the polls say that Andrew Cuomo would win by 40 points over Zohran Mamdani? And what about when Donald Trump was attempting to rerun for office? All the New York Post headlines, oh, drop out, Donald, make way for Ron DeSantis. How did that work out?
Curtis, let me ask you one other question. You mentioned the billionaires, and we had one of them actually on our air earlier in the week, Bill Ackman. And I don't know if you saw, he took to Twitter yesterday or to X, and he made an allegation. I just wanted you to speak to it about why he believes you're not dropping out. He says that the city has an 8-to-1 matching program for New York City donors, and Sliwa got $5 million of matching funds from the city through this campaign. He says, according to my source, you saw he put this out publicly yesterday, Sliwa's wife, friends, and others are on the campaign payroll, and he and they are enjoying living off the city's taxpayers who are funding his race lifestyle. He doesn't want to end his campaign and have to return the funds. And then he says, if I'm wrong, please tell me. So, Curtis, as he says, please correct the record if I got anything wrong. So I wanted to ask you the question directly.
Bill Ackman has been wrong every step of the way about this race. And naturally, he wants me out of the race. So he makes these charges against me. Yes, there are matching funds. And I've raised more money than Andrew Cuomo in matching funds from New York City donors. So, Bill Ackman, keep wasting your millions. Give it to Andrew Cuomo. You gave it to Eric Adams. You haven't been right about anything here. This is a guy who's had a midlife crisis who goes up to Newport, Rhode Island and thinks he's a tennis pro and he gets booed off the court. Well, guess what, Ackman? You're getting booed out of the political court. Stay in your lane. Focus on Wall Street, your hedge funds, and let the people decide who the next mayor is. That's what our democracy is.
But
I
Curtis,
never was taught in school that all of a sudden the billionaires get to choose the next mayor. It's not happening.
That's a fair point, Curtis. But I just want to speak to the allegation, or at least the contention itself. Is your wife or other family members on the payroll of the campaign?
My sister does public relations, which has been her career. Is there something wrong with that?
But that's the extent of it.
That's it. So Bill Ackman can again make these charges, and Bill Ackman can again be wrong about who's going to be mayor of the city of New York. And Bill Ackman, if he wants to flee New York City because he lives in Chappaqua, I might add one of the wealthiest suburbs in America. Right. I live here in the city. I ride the subways every day. I work. I represent the working class people.
I completely hear you. Just one point of fact, because I heard you say that about Bill Ackman in Chappaqua. I do not believe that he lives in Chappaqua. I believe he's a resident of Manhattan and pays taxes to the city.
No, that's his primary residence is Chappaqua. And by the way, all of these billionaires, they fled to the Hamptons. That's where Andrew Cuomo was instead of campaigning. He's been off the campaign trail for 10 days. So maybe Bill Ackman should give some advice to Cuomo, like, hey, drink a few Red Bulls, get back in the campaign, try to get your voters out, and let the people decide. That's what democracy is about. Not billionaires picking the next mayor, not insiders. Democracy is about the people. And that's the way I was brought up in a blue-collar, working-class household. I'm a proud Republican, and I'm going to go out there and get Republican, conservative, independent votes, moderate Democrats, and a brand-new party that was created by my wife, Protect Animals, no-kill shelters, animal abusers go to jail, and let the people decide by November 4th, not the billionaires who've been wrong every step of the way, and helped create this pathway for Zohran Mamdani that nobody knew a year ago.
We got to run. I would ask you, if it doesn't work out, what kind of city you see. I got grief for saying it's going to be like Gotham in one of the Batman movies, where all the East River's frozen and the billionaires are being,
well, look,
head out there, either fall through the ice or you take.
You have congestion pricing here. Look at all the empty storefronts.
Yeah.
There are empty storefronts throughout New York City. It's going to look like Kurt Russell's sequel, Escape from New York 2. But who was the author of congestion pricing? Andrew Cuomo. Tax and spend Democrats from the cradle to the grave. If you elect Democrats, you will continue the flight of capital and equity out of New York City.
The other quote from the movie, Curtis. You don't get the leader you need, you get the leader you deserve.
Cut taxes, corporate taxes, income taxes, property taxes. That's how you get New York City back on track, like Rudy Giuliani did in the city and George Pataki did in the state. And next year, at least Stefanik.
Maybe this will do it for Curtis. Maybe being on Squawk Box will do it for you. You should have been on 6 months ago, maybe. Thank you for being with us.
Anytime.
All right.